Hello, everybody. You know what makes children tick? It's play. And today we are going to be talking about this really significant topic of the importance of play in children's lives. And before we, dive into the discussion with none other than Smriti Gopal, who is the founder and director of Formative Age. She also happens to be an author and also a parenting coach. In fact, she's a conscious parenting coach and also an EFT practitioner. Uh, Smriti, before we ask you this question, I would like everybody to just watch this video that I'm going to play now. So those were some images from children playing around from around the world. Over to you, Smriti.
That was really a really nice video, Stuti. I could just see in the eyes of the children the joy, right? They are excited to be doing whatever they're doing. And if you notice, it's with such intent attention, whatever, whether they're running or hanging from the tree or even just running, rolling in the mud or whatever it is. It's like so much of intent attention, I think. So I think this video clearly shows how much we underestimate what play can give us, right?
Absolutely. So, play is definitely, as you said rightly, very much underestimated by parents, by teachers, by adults around the world. Um, so, when we look at play, it's not just something for fun, but they say that children actually make those neurological connections that happen in the brain when the child is developing. That happens more so when they're playing than when they're doing anything else. So in fact, more than classroom learning and classroom activity, it is actually play which helps children really develop, as you said, it's dexterity, it's creativity, imagination, their much needed social skills. And I remember we talking about in our, I think, last discussion that we had on emotional skills. And play is one great way through which they actually build emotional skills. And a very important skill of, I think, conflict management, right? Which happens during play. So they have fights and they realize how to resolve it, and they learn how to kind of again manage their own fights, which is a great part of their development.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I just want to add to that part of the brain development that you were talking. And through my training that I just took to be a conscious parenting coach, I learned about the brain and how there are three states that are not the brain, really, the nervous system, the whole autonomous nervous system, how there are three states, we are either in the sympathetic state or the dorsal state or the ventral state. And just to very briefly tell you what each is, the ventral state is when we are calm, peaceful, harmonious. And the sympathetic state is when we are in the three F's, the fear, the fight, and the flight mechanism is intact. And the dorsal state is where complete shutdown happens, So it is said that if when you're in play, whatever form of play that you just showed in your video, the autonomous nervous system is in the ventral state of being. So
Wow.
when it's in the ventral state, it's calm, it's peaceful, it's harmonious. And can you imagine what can come out of that, right? Like so much can be born from a place of stillness.
Absolutely. In fact, there is this really interesting thing that I want to share with everybody here. That there's this person called Stuart Brown, and he is the founder of the American Institute for Play. And he has done research of play in animals as well. And it is so amazing. There's again a video which I would like to share. This is from his TED Talk on play, and how there are these there's a polar bear, and there's this husky dog, and the polar bear is almost like a predator in the video. But how, because of the signal of play, the whole scene changes, and these two end up playing. And it is just amazing what wonders play can do to the brain. So let's just watch this video.
North of Churchill, Manitoba, in October and November, there's no ice on Hudson Bay, and this polar bear that you see is 1,200-pound male. He's wild and fairly hungry. And Norbert Rossing, a German photographer, is there on scene making a series of photos of these huskies who are tethered. And from out of stage left comes this wild male polar bear with a predatory gaze. Any of you have been to Africa or had a junkyard dog come after you, there is a fixed kind of predatory gaze that you know you're in trouble. But on the other side of that predatory gaze is a female husky in a play bow wagging her tail. And something very unusual happens. That fixed behavior, which is rigid and stereotyped and ends up with a meal, changes. And this polar bear stands over the husky, no claws extended, no fangs, taking a look, and they begin an incredible ballet. A play ballet. This is in nature. It overrides the carnivorous nature and what otherwise would have been a short fight to the death. And if you'll begin to look closely at the husky that's baring her throat to the polar bear, and look a little more closely, they're in an altered state. They're in a state of play. And it's that state that allows these two creatures to explore the possible. They are beginning to do something that neither would have done without the play signals.
That is the power of play that we sometimes cannot even imagine. That is the power that play has on our minds.
Yeah, I completely can relate to what this video is showing about how play changes the dynamics, because what we see in children and child development and child psychology, or the emotional aspect of children, we see that there are two types of energies that the child is working with, right? There is this doing work energy, which is like do this, and the structure in the school, the homework, the everything that they just have to do. And today's day literally plays on attack. We've taken play away, completely away from their lives, and we have a do working energy. So we don't have the play energy, which what you showed in this video, Stuti, that the animals getting into the play energy is changing dynamics. So I think it's very crucial for parents to get into this fun time mode with their child, where they're just having a pillow fight or a giggle or a laugh, like they're going to just fall off the bed. And it's like so much fun, because these things don't happen. If you look at today's relationship between the parent and the child, it's like, what do I need to do to take care of you? And I'm doing all that I need to do to make sure you're successful. But there is this play energy, which you brought about beautifully through this video that we got to see. And play is work in flow. It's nothing different from work, right? Like you rightly said in the beginning, there's so much that they are learning from. So I completely kind of agree with this play energy that comes from the playfulness with us and our children.
Right. And I think a great point you made there, Smriti, that, the parents are so busy preparing them or setting them up rather for success, even educators for that matter. But I hope that things do change. And I believe things are changing a bit, where we are not fixated on just the classroom learning. Because ironically, since play makes you creative and makes you think out of the box, there is this hope that perhaps these children who probably are encouraged for more play will be able to give us solutions of the problems of the world that we are facing. For example, the climate changes, which may come from children who actually are playing more rather than studying in the classrooms. So we have to have a very, very different perspective on play. And to give you an example from the school, like, so happy to share that as a school, it has been our routine that the day at Linden starts with free play. So the children come in and they play in the morning. So they are taking in the morning sun, they're running around, and you can feel the buzz, the energy in the morning. It is so positive. And to give you an example, like these children, they would play and they would have imaginative play while they're playing in the playground. So they would actually start selling ice creams, for example. So they would become ice cream vendors. Now if you just see, it is very simple, they're just doing imaginative play. But if you see, look at it, how many skills are getting developed here. So you have these children who are being creative, they're coming up with flavors of ice cream which we don't know, so they're being really creative. Then they're learning how to stand in a queue, they're learning patience, they're waiting for their turn. They are learning negotiation skills, as in the whole play that they are doing. So just a simple play like this can have like so many amazing benefits. And it's important, again, Smriti, that we give them unstructured play, we give them open-ended play, which is, of course, as adults, you can supervise, but I think it should be where they're allowed to play anything that they want, and the adults interference is the minimal there. In fact, in certain places, they also encourage a bit of risky play as well, where the children are encouraged to climb up the trees and run fast, which also does wonders to their development. Sorry, yes.
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. But yeah, you're so right. And I think this kind of play, like you said, that they're learning life skills, right? Like, how do I stand in line? There's so much more depth into that. If you look at it, when they play mommy, daddy, when they play mom, they have this little baby and they're taking care. These are all preparing them for life skills, and you can see what is it that they are absorbing from the environment. So as teachers and parents, the observation of play is such a crucial part, because when you observe play without disturbing, which you rightly said, there's no disturbance, you're just staying as a witnesser and observing the play, you are getting a wealth of knowledge about your child. You will learn more about your child through observing their play than a marks card can tell you, a report card can tell you.
Wow.
A report card tells you nothing, literally. But when you observe your child's play, you will get a wealth of knowledge about your child and the connection that is built. Not that there is a connection that's built by playing with the child. There's another connection built by observing the child and other children. Like you rightly said, in your free play, and I can imagine that free play in the Linden's open playground. It's such a treat. I mean, even as an adult, I would love to do that there. It's so beautiful. And the fact that you guys are giving that possibility to children and to start off a day like that is just so amazing. And I just want to add one thing. Suti, you spoke about imaginative play. You spoke about all other free play, which you give, and that's awesome. There's so many other kinds of play, but the one play that I would like to emphasize on is independent play, because the autonomy, the value, and the meaning that comes from the independent play cannot come from other places, because that quiet time to just sit. We don't allow our children to be bored anymore. Like we just got, come on, go. We are like behind them. The false fatigue we talk about in the Montessori environment. No, the child has no false fatigue. And like you said, play is a birthright. It's the birthright of the child, which we're taking away to fill in for them to fit into a matrix, which even we should be getting out of. So honestly, instead of us coming out and seeing the truth of it, we're drawing our children into something that we are stuck in. Do you agree with me on that?
I think you bang on when you said that, that child is a birthright. the play is a birthright for the child. So, I mean, even as I was quoting Stuart Brown earlier, he also says that play is very fundamental to all of us. It's very, very basic. It's as basic as sleep or food. So, like our body needs play, even as adults. He says that. So we also see that the children who are play deprived in their childhood, definitely, there's a cost to it. So as adults, there could be a lot of issues in there. It could be actually detrimental to their development when a child is play deprived. And it has also been found, research has found that many of the convicts, or even murderers for that matter, they have traced back, to their childhood, that they did not get enough play, or the play was suppressed in their childhood. So that is how important play is for, and as you said, it's the birthright of a child.
Yeah, and it's a birthright. And I think play is developing the attachment with this primordial relationship in our life. The reason why we have addictions and other things in our life, which we are all addicted to something or the other, is because we have been deprived of that attachment, that primordial attachment with the parent, of being seen, heard, understood. And where is that coming? It's coming through play. It's coming through that aspect of me being myself when I'm with my parent, and just laughing my heart out without having to say, have I answered the questions that my parent wants to hear me answer? Have I done well on my test? Have I behaved well? Even the behavior, we place so much emphasis on our children not throwing a tantrum, but through throwing a tantrum is when they learn how to self-regulate. Through the play is when it all comes. But what are we doing? We're stopping that very teaching of those things, right? And yeah, even Albert Einstein has said play is the highest form of research. It is. They are learning and learning so much through play. Like you have put across so many points, and we've discussed here, it just makes them discover themselves. Who am I? What am I? My place in the world, what do I want to be? And that's another big thing in play, like the imaginative play you said, they can be anything they want. There's
Correct.
no limit. Be who you want in that. And can you imagine that freedom from being who I want to somebody saying, oh, you can't be this?
True. So there are no inhibitions in play, and that is a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. And imagination can just cross boundaries, and definitely. So and the exploration bit, that they get to understand, they make sense of their world through play only, rather than just learning things again in the classroom. In fact, nowadays we even encourage classroom learning through play. So learning also happens through play activities, which has a far greater impact on how children receive those learnings.
And I just wanted to add to that. You showed us a video in the very beginning with the children playing, and what we noticed in that is, what are the things that they're playing with? It's trees, it's mud, it's water. So the thing about play is, it's very important to define what do we mean by play, because is play watching TV? Is play playing a video game? So the emphasis is on play where the child is actually using the toy, not toys where you give a key and the toy moves, because then the toy is playing for the child. But we want the children to play with toys where they are manipulating it, they are doing it, or literally coming up with cardboard boxes and creating homes, or a pillow, a tent with the pillows. You know how we used to play when we were kids, make a tent with the pillow and the bed sheets. That's the kind of play I'm referring to, where there's just there's no structure. I mean, you're doing based on your imagination, and that's where you're saying the creativity comes from. And to add to that, Stuti, when you said that, even the major world problems can be solved by our children who actually get into play, the reason for that is Eckhart Tolle, the spiritual teacher, has said that you cannot create from a place of chaos, right? When you are in stillness within, you sit in that stillness and the universe creates through you. That's how creation happens. And when our children are playing, they're entering that state of stillness. And through that, they're coming through this creative energy and they come up with these brilliant ideas.
Absolutely. And in times like these, when they are more and more kind of glued to gadgets, I think this becomes even more relevant, what you just said. And precisely as you pointed out, that it's not just about the gadgets or the toys which are battery operated, but rather the child using his or her hands to do things. And especially if we can have the natural play or the outdoor play is the best, where they're actually getting dirty in the mud, and it's another level of, I think, that will help them in their development. So
Right.
so I think, yeah, it was really a great talk on this,
I just
Smriti.
want
And
to add one thing before you
sure,
end.
sure,
I know
yes,
you've taken more time than needed, but I just want to end with the note that you said that even adults need play, right? You mentioned that through that video that even adults need play. And I think that's so true to bring playfulness in every relationship that we are in. We become so serious and we play the role so seriously of the mother, the father, the husband, the wife. We forget this playfulness in that relationship. So I want to end on that note of let's bring playfulness into life, right? Like through the child. The child is a great portal for that play energy to come in. And if there's no child at home, that's okay, because we can bring in the playful energy into our own lives and into relationships and transform the mechanics or the dynamics there.
very well said, Smriti. And I couldn't agree more that, unless and until we bring playfulness in our lives, life will not have any vitality. And to all those who are watching this video, who have watched this video, I think the idea is to sensitize everybody to the importance of play in children's lives. And we should be giving more and more of it, and to ourselves.
Yes. Thank you so much, Suti. This was really wonderful. And see you again sometime.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.